We're here. We're live on BWB. I can't say what the name of it is. YouTube's giving me a little issue with monetizing these videos, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the name of it. But we're just going to call it the BWB show. Y'all all know what that stands for? Look, be sure to go like, share, and subscribe all Buster H.R. Johnson videos, all podcasts, all interviews. Guys, we got a big show. I've been looking forward to this show. We got one of the most hard nosed, grittiest, one of the most, if you like smash mouth wrestling and you like physical wrestling, you love these dudes right here. None other than Steel Cross. I got Alex and I got Ethan. Guys, how's it going?
What's up, Buster?
What's going on?
How y'all doing, man?
Doing pretty good, Buster.
Oh
Let me
yeah.
ask. Now look, I seen a picture and y'all were holding some brand new titles. Won't y'all tell us a little bit about that, man?
So Buster, we've been down at MIW in Middleton, and we've had some problems of Chaz Stone and Tyson Starr. Well, we got rid of Tyson this past weekend, and I mean, we pretty much beat the crap out of Chaz.
I seen the pictures, man, with the gold. Y'all seem like that's what y'all do. Y'all go around and y'all collect golds. What it looks like.
Oh yeah.
Ethan, what's your thoughts on being the brand new MIW Tag Team Champions?
Well, when we went in there, Buster, we went in and we were the underdogs of that show, and we just pretty much done there what we do everywhere we go, and that's we went in. We were smarter than our opponents. Uh, Tyson left in a bloody mess, and Chaz couldn't find anybody to tag with him, so he thought that he could take us by himself, and we were just a little bit smarter, and we left that night with the gold.
Y'all making a habit of leaving with the gold. Look, Devo Dior says, tell us about it, Ethan. Uh, I tell you what, you two guys ain't no short on confidence whatsoever, and it seems like everywhere y'all go, y'all eventually end up with the straps.
That's our goal anyway. Anywhere we end up, we're going to go in and we're going to do exactly what we do, and that's go for the gold. And at some point down the road, we'll end up with the gold.
That's the right attitude to have, man. Look, guys, y'all know you own the BWB show. Y'all know what it stands for. And here on this show, look, we bring you guys on and give y'all the opportunity to tell your stories your way. So, look, guys, why don't we just go all the way back to the start? Why don't both of y'all give us y'all's perspective on even how you got introduced to pro wrestling? Let's just go all the way back, but long before you was ever a wrestler, probably long before you ever thought about being a wrestler. How was you introduced to pro wrestling, guys?
So when we were younger, our dad was a big wrestling guy, and he watched a lot of Memphis wrestling, and he drug us to shows. And in the beginning, we didn't really care for it a whole lot. We just kind of went and ended up kind of liking it to the point of we wanted to go all the time. So we grow to like it. And I think back, Alex, if I'm correct, I think we were going back watching it when Corey Macklin was at the Coliseum in Memphis.
Yep. Doing the whole Macklin militia.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then this is what's gonna get you, Buster. So, uh, we actually used to go and watch when Randy was in Jackson. Uh, like I don't know, we was probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 years old, and seeing all those guys like Mark Southern and all them that um, guys that we've been in the ring with. It's been a long road for us, and to say that we feel like it's our time. It, I don't want to be rude or upset about that, but Everybody else is irrelevant. We're looking out for ourselves. We're getting our name out there. We actually have some stuff open that we can't talk about right now, but later on, we have some big dates coming up.
Well, look,
Yeah.
y'all keep saying we and our dad. So I don't know if a lot of people know it or not. Now, truthfully, I just figured this out. I don't know 6, 7 months ago that y'all are actually brothers, real life brothers.
So we are, Buster. So what a lot of people don't know is we get the question all the time on how are we brothers? Because obviously we don't look like brothers to a lot of people. But so back before I was ever born, before Alex was ever born, my mom, Alex's mom, we have the same birth mom. Um, she was married to a man that actually took me in and raised me as his own because I didn't have a dad. My dad kind of left me before I was ever born. To make a long story short with that, but so Alex's dad, when Alex come into the world, the man that is Alex's dad is actually who raised me up until to this day. So we're blood brothers by having the same mom.
Yes, sir. Me and my brother's the same way. Actually, we got the same mom. I got a sister and a brother, and we have the same mom. But my dad ended up adopting them long before I was ever dreamed of coming along. He adopted my brother was the oldest, and he was 9 when they adopted him. And my dad actually adopted him. He married their mom, which is my mom, and then he adopted both of them. And same way up until the day he passed, he's been their dad. That's what counts, dude. It's the guy who's
It
there,
is
who taught you, who raised you, who took the time, taught you things. That's your daddy. You know what I mean? That's the way we've always
right.
looked at it. Um, we got a comment here. I know y'all know this guy. Justin Case says, "My guys."
Hey, so I'm so glad he commented on it. So Justin Case has always been supportive of us, whether it be good or bad. Um, and Justin's probably one of the smartest people in the business.
Yeah, I like Justin, man. I like uh I like him and y'all together. I like him and Aaron together, man. All I'm waiting is for somewhere to y'all all the perfect storm to hit and all 4 of y'all end up in the same place so y'all can become a faction. I think that'd be a hard hitting, hard nosed faction in the wrestling business, man.
Absolutely, it would be good on our part, but I don't know about anybody else.
Well, there you go, man. Hey, like you said earlier, everybody else is irrelevant.
Yep.
It's about y'all. It's about the big guy. It's about Justin Case. It'd be about y'all. I mean, this is the wrestling business. Y'all know how this game's played.
Yep.
You
Right.
can't be too nice. Well, guys, look, we you kind of told us how you was introduced to wrestling. Take us through how you actually got in the wrestling business. How did that happen for y'all?
All right. So I actually started when New Breed Pro Wrestling was in Humboldt. It was a really small promotion, and I started. I actually started training with Hostile Brian Michaels, and then as I was training, I just kept pushing and kept pushing for Ethan to come, and he finally did. And then every week, man, we was at the building at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and stayed till I don't know 1, 2 in the morning, and that's what a lot of guys now don't understand. Buster is, they want to get there at 4 or 5 o'clock, work a match and leave.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that when we came on. It was, hey, you get there, you clean, you do what you need to do, put up the ring, break down the ring, whatever you have to do.
The
What's your
the part about that getting broke in coming into wrestling, So when Alex actually first got in and he kept trying to drag me in, this was the funny part. I still to this day laugh about this. Alex would come home purple and black and blue and across his chest, and he was like, "Oh, you know, come on, dude, let's go do this." I'm like, "Dude, you look. I mean, somebody's been beating you half to death. Okay." At the time, I think I weighed like 125 pounds, and I was like, "Dude, they're gonna kill me. There's no way I'm going. There's no way I'm doing it." And he bugged me enough. Finally, I was like, "You know what? Just forget it. I'll go. I'll give it a shot." So I went, and the first couple times didn't seem so bad, and then the longer I went on, I actually almost quit wrestling. Almost quit. Almost never made it through training because our training was a lot different. It was rough. It was we got hit very hard a lot of times. I say trained. We were showed enough to get to to actually wrestle a match, but it was never we never. It seemed like we could never pick up on it. It was like I told Alex, I'll never grasp this. I didn't think we was ever going to get the hang of it.
Yeah,
So I almost quit.
it's a big mental thing. Wrestling, it takes I don't even know how to say it. It's like eventually there's a switch that either goes off or it don't. And
Yep.
for the guys that it eventually goes off on, and they figure it out and they kind of comprehend the process. A lot of guys have a hard time, even though they watch wrestling their whole lives and stuff. They think they can do it. They get in there. They still have a hard time understanding that it's a give and take environment. It's
Yep.
not. You don't just go in there and try to bull somebody over.
Yep.
We're
Right.
out here trying to put on the best show possible, make it look the best as possible, as physical as possible. Because that's one thing that draws me to you guys. I like physical wrestling. I like hard nose. I like guys in there sweating, grunting, bumping. I like skin smacking. That's just my favorite style. I love all wrestling,
Yep.
but that's my favorite style, and that's kind of the one thing that drawed me to y'all immediately was when I got to watching y'all live, really all the time. I thought, man, these fucking dudes here, they're good, man. They're better than they get credit for. And that's just the truth, man. It's the style. We got Justin Case back, y'all. We got he said, I want to get there. He said, I want to get there at 8 p.m. Be gone by 8:30 now. LOL. There you go. There you go. Hey, Justin ain't cleaning up, no setting up no chairs. He's too big for that, man. Hey, he's too big a star for that, dude. He ain't got time for that junk, man.
Yep.
Here he comes back, and he said, not anymore. We aren't giving anyone anything. And I'm all for that with you guys. I am all for that with you guys. Go out there. Y'all got the style to take what you want. Go out there and prove to all these guys, hey, you overlook us is the worst mistake you could ever make in your life. I tell people all the time, Justin was just co-host on here a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And the one thing I always go back to for all these other teams and all these other companies, if you don't believe what we're saying, what I'm saying, just go get somebody to book the match. Book yourself against these guys and see how that works out, man.
Yep.
I love the style. I love the grittiness. Dude, don't change a thing. The only thing is I'm with more intensity. You know what I mean? Eat these guys up. Show them that y'all ain't to be played with. Okay, we kind of got how y'all were trained and stuff. First match, was your first match together as a team or even as opponents or take us through, look, if it wasn't together, each one of y'all take us through your first matches.
I got you on this one, Buster. Don't even say nothing either. All right, so my first match was actually with Brian Michaels, and I didn't do nothing but take an ass whooping, pretty much. But as far as Ethan, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and answer it for you, Ethan. So Ethan's first match was against me. Um, and dude, when I say like, I felt like I had stole his damn lunch money or something. Uh, he chopped me in the stomach, and it was, man. But I guess, when we first when well, I guess about a year after we first started, that's when we had a first run as a tag team, and honestly, man, it sucked. It was garbage for a little bit. So we split, went and done some other things, and then we come back to it. And now, what actually pushed us to all this was hearing people say they won't do this or they won't do that. Well, the plan is. Uh, by the end of the year, we would love to see some new states.
Yeah, I would love to see that for you guys too, man. Harley Race's place in Missouri. That
Yep.
would be a prime place for y'all to try to make some connections at and see if y'all could get up there. They're got good talent, real good talent, top notch talent. Y'all would fit in well. Um, EPW guys, I seen y'all debuted for EPW what a month ago or so.
Yes, sir. It was a
Yeah.
month ago.
How was that experience for you going from was EPW the first time y'all had ever done TV?
Uh,
Yes. Yes,
I
it was.
done it a
It
couple.
was different, Buster. It was different. It was exciting because we haven't been out. That we haven't been out to any other promotion. So it was our nerves were through the roof. When we got there and we went out and done our thing. It was different but exciting in a way. It was the adrenaline. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it 100%. Me and Alex loved it. We still talk about it to this today. That it was, and that now going there, getting past that first initial TV deal. Now we want more of it.
More. That's right. That's right. TV is if you've never worked it, sometimes some guys it takes longer than others, but it's all for everybody. It's a learning curve of learning that you're not only working for the crowd there in attendance, but you're also working for everybody out there watching. You
Yep.
know, it's a little bit different animal. Um, how Alex, how did you adjust match wise in the ring, guys? Like kind of making sure you were hitting your points or making sure that you were doing at the right camera angle to catch the right stuff. How was that for you guys?
So I had actually done TV before this. I actually done it 2 or 3 times with Bert uh, down at the Omen Arena. So for me, it was just remembering, hey, this camera's here or this camera's here.
Yeah,
But other than that, I feel we went in there and gave it hell. I mean, that's just we went in there, done us, and they was satisfied with what they had, which I feel is a big accomplishment for us.
yeah, I think so, man. I watched the match. I think the first week it was they introduced y'all with a promo, brought y'all out to ringside, and y'all did a promo.
Yep.
But the second show I seen y'all, I want to say you went against Eric
And
Wayne.
they say,
Yeah, Eric Wayne and DC.
Yeah, man, I watched the match. Good, solid match, man. Back and forth each way. It was a toss up until the end. I'll be honest with you. It was a toss up. That's a good sign, man. That's a good sign that the company, I think it is, that the company sees something in you guys,
Absolutely.
because, I mean, solid match. I'll say that, especially you've done a little bit of TV. He's never done TV. For the first time on TV like that, man, I don't think he could have done any better, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't. I think it was a outstanding debut, and I think it was an outstanding introduction of you guys to the EPW audience. not just the ones in attendance, but the ones at home too. I mean, I think it was a good enough show. And people know who Steel Cross is now. People who watch EPW, they know who Steel Cross is now.
Yep.
You know. Okay, you said that you guys actually tagged for a little while at first and said it wasn't. Basically, you said it was garbage. Kind of explain to us, Alex or Ethan, either one. Tell us what that was about.
Well, it was kind of garbage. We felt like because we were still so green into the business at that time, and it was like I tell a lot of people this. It was for me and Alex. It was when we were growing up. You know, we were always talking when we got to the point of liking wrestling and whatnot. When we actually picked up the first set of tag titles, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I actually cried. Legitimately broke down in tears when we picked up the tag straps the first run we had together, because I never felt like that I'd ever be able to do this as a child. I've never felt like I'd be able to do this growing up at any level of wrestling. So
go ahead, Ethan. Go ahead.
So it was like a dream come true at that point. And then it was like after that, you know, I still haven't figured wrestling out. Like I go back to this day and watch some of the matches I had, and I ask myself, you know, who would have booked us back then? You know, we were terrible. You know, and it was just kind of like trying to figure it out, because even though Alex was already ahead of me a little bit, advanced a little more than I was at the time, he still didn't have it grasped down. Like, it was still so confusing. Like, it was a terrible run the first time.
Well, you know, you can know how to do all the moves.
Yep.
You can do them beautiful in the ring. You can do the in-ring, all the physical moves and bumps. They can be perfect. But it does take a while you really have to get on in there and you really learn how to work and what it's really about once you're in the ring in front of these crowds, because you do something that sucks, they let you know.
Yep.
You do something that's awesome, they let you know. You get instant feedback from them right then, no waiting on it, no wondering if it was good or if it wasn't. You pretty much know immediately, and to me, that's the best way to learn. You can only learn so much in training. You have to be loaded and live in front of the crowd. That's when you do the most learning. It was for me.
You know, they're going to let you know. They're going to let you know what they think.
You know, I'm glad you.
Go ahead, Ethan.
What kind of got me over the edge was after, I learned a little more as the time went on, but Naughty by Nature Rude. Everybody knows Rude.
Yep.
So Rude actually took me under his wing, and I basically say retrained me, because I was trained enough not to get hurt at the time, but Rude actually showed me what I need to do, what to do, the psychology part of wrestling, and he explained it to me like this, you don't have to be high flying and acrobatic guy to get yourself over, and that's what he always told me. And then I got on the road with him, and we done some road shows, and that alone helped me out so much, just being on the road with Rude, and Rude taking me under his wing for a while. And then Zay Washington, actually, me and Zay done several matches together. So between the two of them, it was a major help for my wrestling career.
Yeah, man, Rude's been around forever, and Rude is one of the best people to learn from. Not just, Rude's good everywhere. He's good in the ring. He's good at everything pretty much, man. He knows what to do, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. Rude knows how to make it work. That's a good guy to be on the road with, learning from. Alex, how about you, man? How was when did it start clicking for you?
So for me, it was more of taking time to myself, and getting there early and figuring out, hey, you can't go out there and do all these flips and flops and whatever you're going to do all at the beginning of the match. There's a certain time and place for everything.
Yeah, there he is. And it takes time, man. We got another comment from Justin Case. He says, all good, Ethan, except Ethan in the promo, LOL. Hold on now. I've seen Ethan cut a few promos. You know, it takes some practice cutting them on TV, but I've seen Ethan cut a few killer promos live now.
The TV is the promo for TV definitely that definitely hit me different. It threw me off so bad, and I told Alex after I go back and after I watched it, I was like, you know, I could so do better than that. And what was I thinking that night? And I don't know what I was thinking that night because it was so shocking. And I still watch it today, and I tell myself, you know, God, you know, you can do so much better than that.
Hey, on that comment too, Buster. We don't need to have these microphone skills if we got somebody like Justin Case.
Well, that's right, but it is good to have somebody like Justin Case that lets you know where you might need to work at, where you need some improvement at.
Oh yeah, Justin's not gonna lie to you. He's straightforward with you.
We got a comment from Devo, said, Buster, you just described PM. I don't have no idea what that means. Does either one of y'all?
I think he said porn.
Oh, maybe so. See, I can't see good either. I actually need a secretary to do these comments for me, man. I don't know what I just described porn, but whatever, Devo. You got a dirty mind, kids. You got a dirty mind.
Yes, he does.
Well, look. Now, I was first introduced to you guys. Ethan, I was first introduced to you at EIW, actually, as a singles guy. Now, Alex, I was first introduced to you at TIWF as a tag guy. So, y'all, I mean, the first run as a tag team, how long did that last?
It was probably, I don't know, a year.
That's
A good solid year.
And you know, Ethan, before we go further, I want to say something. You said you talking about you cried when you first won the very first titles. Dude, that's what people don't understand. When you get into wrestling and you figure out it's something you love, that's how much it means to us guys.
Yes.
You know, people on the outside think, well, that's crazy. You know, that don't even make no sense. Who the fuck's going to cry over winning a title belt? But when something means that much to you, you can't help. Them emotions come out when they want to.
Right.
You can't stop them. How many UFC guys do you see after they done had a hard fight and won a fight, or even lost sometimes? They're out there in their their post-fight interview, and they can't help it. That emotion just pours out. That's because it means that much, and we're the same way. Just because what we do is a little different. When someone has enough fault in you to think you deserve a belt put on you, well, that means a lot.
Yep.
You know, it means a lot to all of us. I'm all for that, dude. Never lose the nervousness. I had an old guy, Don Bass, told me is if you ever quit being nervous before a match, you might as well get out now, because you don't want it. You don't care that much about it no more. Dude, I'm nervous before we do this podcast. I'm sitting at home. I could be naked from the waist down. Who knows? but I mean, really, all day I've been thinking about this podcast, and it's been, you know how the nerves go.
Yep.
But that's good though. You never want to lose that in pro wrestling, man. Never. Ever.
Well, you know, it's different for a lot of guys, you know, and some guys, you know, they just enjoy wrestling for whatever reasons. But I actually care for this business. I don't just do this for the enjoyment of it. I actually, at some point, would really like to achieve, you know, working for a really high end promotion somewhere. And you know, some guys they just enjoy doing what they're doing for local shows, and that's fine. I don't knock anybody that does that, but I actually care about the business as a whole, you know.
Yeah, and trying to further your career in this business. I think
Right.
y'all are on the right track, man. Here lately, y'all have been pretty much ever since this year started. Y'all seem to branch out. I know y'all really kind of stayed close to West Tennessee for a long time,
Yep.
and now it's like you're everywhere. I mean, you're out working different promotions. Do y'all not have a show coming up in Arkansas soon?
So it was supposed to be, and some stuff come up, and uh, it kind of changed. But the plan is to definitely get to Arkansas. Uh, I know that I've been in talks with Luke. I think it's AWA in Arkansas.
Yeah, AWA. Yeah, they've been running some shows in Blytheville. I think they run Blytheville once or twice a month. I think they were at the fair Friday and Saturday
Yep.
this weekend. I thought I'd seen y'all on a poster a while back for them, and
Yeah.
that's wrestling, man. That happens. But I mean, y'all are at MIW. You're at EPW. You're at TIWF when you can get there too. And TIWF is really kind of y'all's home company.
So
Am I right?
it is. We met Randy Bird about I don't know 8 or 9 years ago, and he invited us over, so we went over there. And you know, Randy Randy's all about his guys, and he don't want to let his guys go. But we've been there 8 years, eight and a
Yeah.
half years, and I feel I love Randy to death, but I feel like we need to get away for a little bit, because we've been on top for the past year and a half there, um, and you know I want to see how far this takes us. So a lot of people don't know, Buster, but uh, this past March, I was actually supposed to quit wrestling. Uh, Lower part of my back. I actually was when I was younger. I was never supposed to walk, and due to scoliosis, and so I have a lot of back trouble. But me and Ethan started tagging, and we came together, and we both have these big hopes for us. So it's just keep pushing.
Yeah, man. I didn't know about the back issues. I definitely didn't know about scoliosis and stuff. Uh, Man, it's a lot to overcome out there taking bumps like you take and working like you work. Look,
Well,
we got a comment here from a guy named Willie D. Willie D. Charisma. I know him. I'm assuming y'all probably don't. He said, just letting you know that I'm watching and enjoying the show. We appreciate that, Willie D. Charisma. Dude, there is the longest running rookie of the year for USWA. Now, they didn't say that. He did. He used to come out with a trophy everywhere he went. He was the USWA rookie of the year for probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years in a row. Who knows, man? Uh, we got another comment from Justin Case. He says, after that, I'm lipping off in case the camera falls. Justin, he's always got something to say, don't he?
oh man.
Oh man.
Look, y'all, you were talking about TIWF and Randy. And I actually had this conversation with my wife a couple days ago about you guys. I see Randy's standpoint from a sense that y'all been there, y'all are the couple of his tip top guys. That it does make an inconvenience, a minor inconvenience for you guys not being there every Saturday like you normally were. But
Yep.
at the same time, I think Randy and them understand that you guys go off, the bigger name y'all become.
Yep.
Then when y'all come back, the night y'all can be at TIWF, you're bigger draws now.
Yep.
Instead of drawing the same amount of people you've been drawing, maybe in 6 months you'll be putting 100 extra people in that building when you can be there. You
Oh,
know, it's kind of a trade off. Like I say, I see Randy's point, I see y'all's point, but I also think if I'm Randy, I'm thinking it gives them a chance to get some different talent in there,
Yep.
and see if they find some more people that works and really works out good and want to become permanent. And it also lets you guys go and become bigger stars.
Yep.
And it's a benefit to them too. If the bigger stars y'all become, it's a benefit for TIWF and Randy too, because when you come back, you're gonna have more name value. Then you're gonna be somebody he can actually plug, put you on the radio if he wants to, for a morning show, for a big show.
Yep.
I think in the end, I think it's going to be best for everybody.
Yep.
I understand both sides, but look, it's a necessary evil. You guys have to go out and see how far y'all can take this thing.
Yep.
There's just no way around it.
Well, the way I look at it, Buster, is I'm 30 years old, and I don't want to be, I want to see while I'm still young, I want to see where I can go before I get to the point to where, because I'm not going to be the 60-year-old guy that's still out here that's hurting and still trying to do this at some point, because this takes a toll on your body enough as it is for everybody that does this. And before I get, to 40 or 50 years old and I'm already at that point, I don't want to be too late before I can say, at least I tried to get out,
Who's the older brother?
We're 3 years apart. I'm the youngest.
Really?
Yep.
I expected the opposite answer.
Yeah.
Everybody does. So Alex had a full mustache when he was 15 years old. I didn't even grow a small beard, a small goatee until I was 25.
Dude, I had a buddy when we was probably 13, had a full-blown mustache. Looked like a grown man, dude. That's crazy.
That's Alex.
You sitting there with some peach fuzz on your nose, man, under your nose.
Yeah.
This fucker's already trimming that shit and stuff, man, at 13.
That was Alex. I didn't get mine until I was about 25, and which I'm thankful, because I hate facial hair. I don't want to take the time to shave, really.
I have to shave every day, man. If I don't, that shit. I can't grow a beard because it bugs the hell out of me. I just can't last long enough with it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So, like, I'm too fat and I get to sweating and and it gets to itching, and I'm like, man, this stuff has to go.
That's me, man. I can't handle it, man. It goes to itching like hell. Well, look, guys, y'all started as a team. Y'all kind of went your separate ways. Each one of y'all kind of, whoever can start it, don't matter. Like, from the first time y'all broke up as a team, is just now when y'all got back together, or have y'all had times where you've gotten back together and had little runs and then split back apart? How's this thing worked out?
So when we split up, we had talked a few times about giving it another run, but we never completely went through. And I guess about November or December of last year, maybe, I don't know, maybe a little further back, we mentioned it, and we was both just kind of doing something at that point in time. Well, we both got free of what we was doing, and then we said, screw it, let's do it this time, but let's give it 100%.
Ethan, give us your perspective on the reuniting of the team.
Well, it was one of them deals for me. Is after we split the first time, I went through a couple tag partners. I tried the whole tag team deal, but it never works out. That's why I was never real big on a tag team after me and my brother split the first time, because you go out here and you get all this stuff together, then you're tagged with somebody for a little while, then y'all separate for whatever reason. So I didn't really care for the whole tag deal, and then we started talking about tagging again, and it just kind of, when we freed up, he was free and I was free. It was one of them deals where I told Alex, I said, if we're gonna do this time, let's give it, like he said, let's give it 100%. But this time, let's we're more advanced in our wrestling career now than we were back then. So this go around has definitely been enjoyable. This has been good all the way through so far.
Time wrestling's a lot about timing,
Yep.
and maybe the time was just right. Dude, y'all have because like I've been keeping up with each one of you for probably the last 2.5, 3 years.
Yep.
On a regular basis. You were pretty. The Informal Aces was pretty a hot tag team around West Tennessee, pretty well known for a long time. And Ethan, like I said, I first got my first look at you at EIW, and you came in, and I want to say first night won the heavyweight title. And you toted that title for a while. But timing's everything, man. And maybe the timing's just right, because ever since y'all come back together as a team, your trajectory has really just been going straight up,
Oh yeah, and then honestly, Buster, we're waiting on new gear, new boots. It's all ordered. We're just waiting on everything to come in.
That'll help too.
And that goes back, Buster, to you talked about our style of wrestling. There's not a lot of people around anymore that does our style of wrestling, but our style of wrestling actually it excites us. I like hard hitting. Even as a child, I always like to see hard, aggressive wrestling. I'm not opposed to anybody that does all the fancy stuff, because I'll be the first to tell you I can't do it. I'm not no back flipping. I can't do moonsaults and all that, but what I can do is hit you hard enough that you've been hit. And that's what I've always liked as a child, and I'll take it just as hard as I dish it, Yeah. And that's just kind of our style. That's just kind of what we grow to with our style of wrestling, just hard hitting, aggressive wrestling, like we enjoyed as children,
When as we was growing up, Buster, we loved watching guys like the Moondogs. That they would go out there and beat the hell out of each other. And I'm not opposed of anybody going out there and doing the same to me. But that's just how we are.
Yeah, y'all got like I said, like I opened the show with, you got a physical smash mouth style, but hold on. You might not do no backflips or nothing, but he can. I see him do them.
Yeah, he can.
Well, that's kind of makes you the heads and tails of the same quarter, Sometimes that's what it takes. If you both can do all the same shit, sometimes it cancels each other out, but where your strong points are one thing and his is a different thing, y'all both love it physical. I mean, that's why it's working like it is. Both of you guys, give me some of your influences. Wrestlers who influenced you, they can be superstars or they can be people you work with or you growed up watching around the local shows. Either one of y'all, just both of y'all, give me y'all's influences. And
So my major, when a lot of people listen to this, they're gonna, and they see this, they're gonna say, "Oh Lord, yes, we know this." But so I'm a big AJ Styles guy. I don't know what it always was ever since I've watched him. There's just something about that guy that just struck my attention. He is, I can't say I've ever watched a match that he had that I've been bored watching.
Yep.
It's he can do all the flipping and the aggressive stuff, but he's also AJ could wrestle very aggressive too. Yeah.
He's one of the best guys in the world. When you talk about the best, everybody talks about Bryan Danielson, which I'd love to see him and AJ get a shot somewhere where it was just go for it. But AJ's right there in that upper echelon of top 5, 10 guys who truly are the best in the world right now,
Yes, he's by far he's my favorite wrestler as far as that goes. But two other guys that I always enjoyed watching The Rock and Stone Cold and Mankind, back when they were all doing their stuff they were doing. It was It was enjoyable. Even during the matches, even if they didn't have a legitimate match, it was it was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, yeah. That was entertainment personified during that era. I mean, there ain't no denying Mick Foley, whether he's Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mick
Yep.
Foley, or Mankind. That
He
dude's
was tough.
he's a fucking legend, man. There's no denying that. Stone Cold, man, can't nobody deny. People say a lot, but truthfully, he didn't last long, his run, but for them 5 years or so that he was really active in the ring and at the top of his game, he's still probably the biggest star in professional wrestling. I mean, he done more business faster than Hulk Hogan or any of those guys. The Rock, I mean, The Rock's The Rock. The Rock was always meant to go from wrestling to something bigger for him. He just,
Right.
I mean, this guy's just too entertaining. I mean, you knew from the get go that more than likely this guy here was going to wrestle until it took him somewhere else. And we know he loves wrestling. It ain't like he got an opportunity and he just used wrestling to get here. No. But when you get those opportunities, you can't turn them down. And if they snowball into something else, you got to roll with it and keep going. And all of those guys, man, that was one of the, I would have to say, I'd have to go back to the early 80s, mid 80s when the Horsemen first formed to rival the Attitude Era. Early Memphis, early 80s Memphis was on fire. The Horseman was down in Georgia, ruling the roost. Even WWF, even Hulk Hogan was on fire then. But as far as, see, that's the era I grew up in. I couldn't imagine being being a kid growing up in the Attitude Era, because I don't know how my perspective on wrestling would be. That's why I like talking to you guys, because y'all did grow up in that era, and I get a little insight into your mind, because we're all kind of shaped by the eras that we grew up on and loved the most. Alex, what were some of your big influences?
So I'm gonna go a different route, Buster. So, one of the guys that I actually look up to is a couple of them is Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. Man, they're probably two of the smartest guys around. And there's never a dull moment with them.
No, you're right about that. They kind of had the heads and tails of the same coin too.
Yep.
Ricky, one of the best sellers, one of the best baby faces in wrestling period ever. And I tell you a guy who don't get the credit because he was a little before Ricky Morton. But before Ricky Morton was the best babyface around in the business, Tommy Rich.
Yep.
A young Tommy Rich was the biggest babyface you ever seen. The girls loved him. The guys loved him. Before Ricky Morton, there was Tommy Rich, and he don't really get enough credit. He gets more credit for being the dirty deeds done dirt cheap, Tommy Rich, instead of the pure baby face he was when he first started, man.
Yep.
Well, what it was, Buster, those guys back talking about The Rock and then back in that time. Well, what those guys done is put it in there. They basically showed you that there's more to wrestling than just wrestling a match. Those guys could make you enjoy everything they did, because that's what a lot of people don't understand. There's more than going out there, me and you going out there wrestling a good match. There's a lot of guys that can go out there and wrestle a good match, but there's a lot of other stuff that comes along with that, and that's one of the things that The Rock and all those guys always did, that they showed a lot of people, they could put on a show without, going out there doing 50 moves. They could do 3 moves and you would enjoy it just as much as the guys that just went out there and done 100.
You can have a killer match, but if the fans don't care, don't mean shit.
Yep.
It's all about getting the crowd, getting the fans emotionally invested into what you're doing out there. And that's, I'll be honest with you, we're slowly losing that art in pro wrestling.
Yep.
The guys who know how to do it and can do it need to do it, need to try to teach as many of these guys who just go out there and they think it's all about these moves. We do these cool moves, they're going to pop. Well, this is wrestling. Pretty much people will pop for anything.
Yep.
A pop and a emotional pop is two different things. When
Yep.
people are emotionally invested in something, they don't pop the same way. All fans, you do something cool, yeah, they're going to clap and cheer and pop. But when you see fans out there crying,
Yep.
when you see them out there in tears because not because something bad happened to somebody, but their favorite babyface just won a match that he was, everything was against him in. That's one thing that's missing to me in pro wrestling right now. And the guys who are able to do it need to do it. They need to prove and show people that it's still more about how you do, not what you do, and evoking emotion out of the fans. You know, you don't got to go do a bunch of beautiful moves to evoke emotion out of people. You can do that in 100 different ways, you know.
Yep.
And the first one is just use logic.
Yep.
When guys are putting matches together, use logic to put your match together. Don't do something that wouldn't fit in this match.
Yep.
You know, people get in. Look, the fans at TIWF are emotionally invested in you guys. Whether you're good guys or bad guys, these fans love y'all and they love to hate y'all.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. Look, Justin's back on. He said it's the hair. It's the hair he has that you love. LOL. I'm assuming he's talking about Ricky Morton.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you.
Okay, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson. Anybody else, Alex?
Honestly, like a lot of the bigger names, Buster. You know, of course, all of us guys at some point have looked up to some of them, but to me, it's more of a enjoyable thing to watch all of them, to see the different styles they do. Because
Yeah.
WWE and WWF and WCW, they're totally different from each other. Because the old WCW and ECW, man, those guys would go out there and I'm talking beat the hell out of each other. But, you know, sad to say is, you know, some of the guys now on WWE are going out there hitting 100 spots and not caring if the crowd pops or not for it.
You know, I feel like that's probably got a lot to do with the way WWE puts their whole show together, from being overly scripted. Here's the thing. You can't script pro wrestlers down to the T.
Yep.
The guys who became the biggest stars in pro wrestling all became those size stars because of their real natural personalities.
Yeah.
That came out, or they dialed up. They had that in them. When you go to handing a wrestler a script that's written by somebody, a lot of times nowadays it's not even a wrestling person, or don't even really, they're not a wrestling person and they don't even really know your character, who you are, what you might do, what you would do, what you wouldn't do. And they hand you this and say, hey, go out here and say this. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't want to do that now.
Yep.
Look, it's one thing to get bullet points, say, hey, here's what we're hitting on. You need to hit this, this, and this. But then you do it your way. That way your guys, the wrestlers' personalities get to show. Yep. There's not, I can't think of one manufactured gimmick that has ever been successful. And a lot of people is going to say, well, what about The Undertaker? But here's the thing about The Undertaker. What started out as an idea in Vince McMahon's head, Mark himself took and owned that. He over time, like when he first come out in 91, yeah, he might have been a little robotic and stuff, But over the years, he literally evolved into that person, into
Yep.
the Undertaker, into the Dead Man. But it was in there. There was something about that character that also he could identify with, you know?
Yep.
And it's hard if you throw a gimmick on a guy who's literally don't have any of that in him nowhere. For wrestlers, it's hard. I mean, we're not actors. It's as simple as that. We're not actors. We may get out there and have to act sometimes, but that's not really what we do and who we are. You know,
Yep.
we're better at being ourselves, you know, a version of ourselves.
You know, Buster, I got so down back to MIW. So, you know, that's probably one of the things we like about MIW is it's, you know, that's Grady Watson down there.
Yeah.
And Grady's old school. You know, we had some fans. During our match that my shirt that I went out with that they was over there throwing it in the garbage, like, and I'm just like, to me, okay, I don't care. I'll go home shirtless. Like, let them do that. Let them feel like that they're getting that in.
Yes, man. That means you got some killer heat.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Well,
means
I
you did
think that was the. I think the same night that they threw his shirt in the garbage, which was a funny story. So during the finish of that match, Justin actually puts a chain down in the back pocket of the guy, Chaz, that we were working that night. And to talk about fans being involved, so those people down there actually hated us. They hate us so much. We actually had a fan get into the ring and pull the chain out of Chaz's back pocket.
Yeah, they're fans like at TIWL.
Yep.
Most of them, I figure, are there every single Friday night,
Yep.
and they're into it too. So, and y'all are pretty slick at that fucking chain gimmick. I done seen y'all pull that twice, and I seen it. If it worked at MIW, it worked beautifully at TIWL, man.
Yeah.
Pretty slick at that, dude. Well, look, goals and aspirations. What do y'all want to over the next year's time? Give us an idea of collectively where y'all want Steel Cross to go to.
All right. So, the plan, if we can get out and get our name out and all that, we would really like to see an AEW debut, or Impact.
Man,
That's the real goal. That is something that we're working on. We really want to happen within this year is to see one of them two debut for one of them two shows.
hey man, AEW to me, if I was 20 years old, 25 years old, man, AEW to me seems like it seems like if you go down there and you're a good worker, you work hard, you do what they asked you. I just think there's a lot of guys. I say a lot. There's several guys around this territory that I believe if they'd go down to AEW and make. Here's the thing about wrestling: you got to have your face in their face.
Yep.
If you go down there at one time and then you never go back, no matter how good a match, unless it's just so spectacular that they see something immediately, hey, I want to sign these guys. Tony Khan does, which that's very few and far between.
Yep.
And a lot of guys might go do something like that one time, and they don't get that call, and it's like, well, screw it, and just don't go back. You know, out of sight, out of mind. Put yourself in their face enough.
Yep.
Dude, I think AEW would be an easier job and payday.
Yep.
For you guys. TNA though, I think you might get more actual TV time.
Yep.
You know, I'll be honest with you, but here's the thing. I guess it depends on the check, Tony Khan, as far as if the check's big enough and you're stuck wrestling on Dark for a year or so. Does it really matter? You know, a lot of people watch Dark.
Yep.
So I guess that's the one thing I'd have to look at. Does TNA's TV viewership does it beat AEW's YouTube viewership even? You know, and that would go a long way with my decision. But I mean, both places. Look, y'all need to have your face in both places because, I mean, the more people seeing you, the more opportunity might come along, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, Buster. So, with me and Ethan, screw the money aspect part of it. Let's hit the road and wherever it takes us, then that's where we're going to be.
I think AEW, I'd love to see you guys go down to AEW. I think
And
y'all
you
could,
just gotta put in the work. That's what I was. A lot of people. I tell a lot of people, it's not going to happen overnight. You got to get out here and you got to bust your ass and you got to really work for that. That I feel like that is something that is not given. That's earned. You really got to get out here and hit it hard if that's a goal you want.
yeah, you do, man. People don't realize how hard. Look, the wrestling in the ring is usually the fun part.
Yep.
You know, it's all the other stuff that goes with it, the travel, the low pay, the doing without, the missing family time. Uh, that's where all the hard work is. That's where all the sacrifice is. Normally, wrestling the matches is the fun part of it. You know, that's when you get to drop all your worries and for however many minutes you're in a whole nother world. You know, you're only focused on one thing. So it's a lot of sacrifice to try to even to try to make it in this business. You got to be willing to sacrifice more than anything else. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, look, y'all have got y'all are the new MIW tag team champions. Y'all are the former TIWF tag team champions. It looks like y'all are in the hunt for EPW title gold somewhere. It looks like y'all are in the conversation for it.
Hey, Buster, willingly or forcefully, we're going to be there. And that's, that's just saying, we go out there, we bust our ass, and that's just us. We're from bell to bell. We're in and out, in and out. That's just tag team wrestling for you. If tag team wrestling is done right, man, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's entertaining. I'll say that it's action when it's done right. Even when it's you ain't got to be out there doing 100 flips and flies for pro wrestling to be action packed, man. You just don't. And I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of tag wrestling.
Yeah.
Of course, now I love me personally. I always, even before I broke into business, I always envisioned myself as a singles guy, and I did that for years. And then I was in a tag team for a while with Motley Cruz, and we had decent success, but we just didn't. I mean, we had good matches with everybody we worked. We worked good together, but there was just something missing there. And then later on, me and Ron McClarty hooked up. And man, when me and Ron hooked up, it was like magic. I mean, we just gelled for some reason. I don't know why. But man, that's really where I found my love for being a tag team wrestler. I always loved watching tag team wrestling, but I always kind of envisioned myself as a singles guy. But man, when me and Ron hooked up, that's where I found the love of being a tag team wrestler. Look, man, tag team wrestling gives you a license to be way more creative than you can be in a singles match with just two guys. With four guys, there's the opportunity to do so much more,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Who is your biggest rivals right now, or since y'all been back tag teaming on this run here, who do you feel like is your biggest rivals in the wrestling business?
So, I'm gonna say the Hustlers.
Definitely.
That's what I was thinking too. They're the guys I seen you use the chain and the pants gimmick on, and y'all got them, man. It worked honestly,
for the most part, they're bigger than us. We're just smarter.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have something to say about that for sure. They'll definitely have something to say about that. Look, I did some tag team rankings a few months ago.
Yeah.
And you guys were number 3 on the list, only behind the Posse at number 2, and they were actually the Memphis Wrestling Tag Team Champions at the time.
Yeah.
And the Hustlers. The Hustlers were my number 1 team. But you guys, I went to putting all these teams down on the list, and then I got to thinking about matches I'd seen them have, and just all kinds of different stuff about all these different teams. And the more I looked at it, the more I realized you guys kept moving up the list. I think I want to say I probably in my head before I even made the list, because when you do something like that, when I made the list, I already knew that I felt like the Hustlers were the number 1 team because they've got the tenure and they work everywhere, and they don't get the credit they deserve either.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people felt like the Posse should have been default number 1, period, just because they held the biggest tag team titles in the territory by holding the Memphis Wrestling Tag Team titles. But I still just felt like that the Hustlers, they deserve that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Because they do go everywhere. And then you guys, like I said, I want to say when I originally had the idea of the list, and because immediately I had several teams in my head, and I kind of already knew where they were probably going to fall. And I want to say I had you guys probably number 5. And then as I really got to making the list out and looking at all the teams, you guys kept moving up, man. Y'all went from number 5, I think, to number 3.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. At the time, I couldn't put you no higher because obviously the Hustlers had the tenure and they work everywhere.
Yeah.
I think, they're like, they've held tag team titles in so many companies. I had to use 2 pieces of paper to list them,
Yeah.
And then obviously the Posse were the tag team champions that probably held the biggest tag team titles in the territory with holding the Memphis titles. But there was also Bluff City teams. Yep. There were teams from everywhere. All the like TIWF. I had teams from MCW and Osceola. A bunch of different teams, and like I said, as the more I looked at the list and started going through the different attributes of each team, the more I realized, fuck, these guys here, they're really, y'all shot up to number 3 real fast. Here's the thing. I'm going to do these rankings again probably in June or July. I'm going to do them every 6 months. So I'm really anxious to start putting all you guys down on the list again and see where the rankings fall this time, because you guys have ventured out since those rankings and y'all are at different places. Y'all are doing some TV. Hustlers are still all around doing what they do, the same thing, going around collecting titles everywhere they go, working for everybody. The Posse just got beat for the Memphis Wrestling Tag Team titles, and they held those titles for a long time. But there's a ton of other teams. I'm really anxious to do these rankings and see how they fall this time. You guys, man, and I caught a little bit of shit from that, just certain people. And like I said, it goes back to, if you don't believe me, get yourself booked against these guys and see how you fare. That's the one thing I kept going back to. If you don't think these guys deserved where they were, find out for yourself, because they do. I knew y'all did, dude. I seen something when y'all first started tagging. I could tell there was something different going on pretty much immediately. I don't know what it was. And I don't think I realized y'all were brothers at that time either.
Yeah.
I knew y'all had good chemistry. And I think I realized right after that, I think during that's when I realized that y'all were real brothers. And me and my brother broke in the business together. He was my manager and I was the wrestler. So I kind of know what it's like to break into business with your brother. You know, you have a chemistry with your brother that it ain't like y'all ain't just a new tag team. Y'all been a tag team for life, you know.
Yep.
Right.
So
And Buster, back to what you were saying about uh, getting it booked. I mean, and this is going out to everybody. You know, if you don't want to come to us, hey, let us know. We'll come to you.
there you
It's out
go.
there.
Yeah, man. I don't think. Well, I think now. Look, when you're kind of hid over a corner somewhere, uh, a lot of people don't hear about you or know about you.
Yep.
But now y'all are out making waves. Y'all are out in the ocean. Y'all are making waves. People's taking notice. I think y'all are going to get the respect y'all deserve here soon, dude. I don't think it's far coming. You know, the more y'all get out, the more places you work, the different people you work with, it's only going to be better for y'all too. The thing about pro wrestling is you need to be able to step in the ring with damn near anybody of any style at any time and be able to come up with a good match, get a
Yep.
Yep.
good match out of it. And y'all are kind of, I see that in y'all. Y'all are able to a bunch of different people and a bunch of different styles successfully. Everybody can't do that.
Yep.
You know, it's hard sometimes. Well, guys, what about your social media and stuff? How do these promoters and even fans, if they need to, how do they get a hold of you guys if they want to? If promoters out there want to book you guys?
Hey, for the most part, it's Facebook. Mine's under James Pierce. His is under Michael Pierce or Mike Pierce. Um, I mean, for the most part, message us, and we go from there.
Well, give us some of y'all's upcoming shows. What do y'all got coming up?
So this weekend we are at TIWF, and then 8 weeks after that we're gonna be at EPW,
EPW.
EPW.
and then of course on Fridays we are at MIW in Middleton, and then um, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. On May the 7th, we'll be in Memphis.
For Memphis Wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Man, there you go. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a big deal there, y'all. I'm really looking forward to that now. That's something I didn't know about. Hadn't heard nothing about that, but let the cat out of the bag here, man. How did that come about? I mean, how was that phone call when you got it?
Well, I mean, that's like everything else. You get your name out there, and either you have to make the call or you get the call, and uh, you know, fortunate enough, uh, it came on to us.
That's good, man. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, really, if you get to go there, everything goes good. And between there and EPW, you're really working for the two top TV companies in our territory.
Yep.
I mean, there are a couple other out there doing stuff. Another one's got TV. A few have YouTubes. Good, they're good shows too. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that's one and two right there in the territory. So that's right where you guys need to be, man. I
So
wish you.
I'm actually Buster working on I'm working on a booking in Canada um with in Niagara Falls for promotion down there through a buddy of mine, Trent Ware. Uh, we might be possibly within this year making a trip there too. So
That would be awesome. I tell you what, that some international. Of course, Canada's not that international, but it's still whole different way of doing things, whole different group of guys. Man, I think you guys would probably do good in. I think y'all would probably do good in Mexico too. I think you'd do good in Japan too. I know both of you have families, and you know, going to Japan, it'd have to be really worth the money to sacrifice the time away from your families. Even if you just went on short tours, it would still have to, the financial reward would have to be high. It would be for me.
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
But I mean, we're fortunate. They're our wives are very supportive of everything we do.
Yeah, you got to have that, man. When you're in pro wrestling, everybody has to be on board.
Yep.
You know. Well, let me ask you guys this: dream matches out there, dream opponents for Steel Cross. They can be anybody in the world. They can be local guys. They can be superstars. They can be in Japan. Y'all give me 2 teams that y'all would love to face, test yourself against more than any other teams around.
That one hit.
It's rough when you get put on the spot.
No,
Yeah,
for sure. So I guess for us, I would really like to Matt and Nick. Ain't their name Matt
Jackson.
Jackson. Yep.
Yeah, I could see that, man. I actually believe that match is a possibility. I believe y'all got down to AEW. I think that could happen for sure.
Oh, the Young Bucks are good.
They do a lot of flying, man.
A lot of flying.
I can't. I just don't like to. I'm too fat, Buster.
You get out on the road and get to working enough, you'll work that off easily, man. You won't even have to go to the gym. What about you, Ethan? He gave us a team. What's your team?
I guess I've never actually thought about, anybody else outside of them probably that I could think of right off the top of my head that I could say would be somebody that we want to work.
Let me hit you with this. Now I know one's gone, the other one's hurt, but I'd love to see a match between y'all and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
Yep.
When I see y'all in the ring, that's one thing I tell people. If you like the Undisputed Era, you'll like these guys here. And I think of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. I can see you 4 guys in the ring. I'd just like to see some of the things y'all came up with.
Yeah.
Because they're highly, them boys are good. When they're together and it's them together, nobody else around, just them in the ring as a tag team, they top notch. They're one of the very best tag teams in the world. And I would love to see you guys. I think you 4 guys would have a hell of a match. I think it'd be hard hitting. I think it'd be gritty. I think it'd be the kind of wrestling I like watching,
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to have to start wrapping it up. We still got about 10 minutes, but each one of y'all, give me a funny road story, funny wrestling story. It can be R-rated, X-rated, whatever it needs to be. I know y'all got to have some, so each one of y'all give me one of the funniest things you've ever seen happen in wrestling or wrestlers doing or whatever.
So as far as me, pretty much no matter where me and Ethan go, whether it's long trip, short trip, he always has to drive, and I usually always have to catch a nap on the way home. So it's him driving. It's always him driving.
So basically, you getting screwed, huh, Ethan?
Buster, he's a terrible driver. Alex is he's good to pull his weight for a good hour if need be, but outside of that, I'll just take my own chances.
You're taking your life you're taking your life into your own hands if you let him drive, huh?
Yes. So probably the funniest road story that I've had happen with me. So me, Rude, and Zay went to a place called Picayune, Mississippi. Me and Rude were actually the UIWA, I think the UIWA World Tag Team Champions at that time. we were going down to 9.5 hours to defend these titles, and it was probably the best road trip there on the way there. But so when we get there, of course we're not from there. We didn't know nothing about the town or anything like that. So we get there, we're the oddballs. So this show was actually in a beer joint. So we walk in with our wrestling bags to the front door. Me, Zay, and Rue look at each other like, man, are we about to get shot up in here, stabbed? We didn't know what to expect at that point, and so little blonde behind the counter up there, she looks at Rude and says, so you guys must be wrestlers. And Rude said, yeah. She said, so y'all are at the right place, but it's not till later today. So, okay, we leave, we go get lunch or whatever, come back, do the show, everything goes good. The ride home was miserable. It was Rude drive an hour, trying to stay awake while I catch 15 minutes of sleep. Then Zay drives. It was terrible home, but it was funny in a way. It was definitely a road experience for sure.
Hey, the road trips is a lot of times that's what makes the whole experience, man. The road trips are crazy. My brother, we'd always take turns driving, but man, he's the type, I shit you not, we'd be 15 minutes away from home, and he gets so sleepy, he'd be like, I just got to pull over. We're going to have to stop right here. 15 minutes away. I'm like, hell no. We're 15 minutes away from the house and the bed, man. Come on, dude. No, I got to pull over right here. We'll plumb get into a whole fight over getting home or pulling over sleeping, man.
Well, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. It was crazy.
Well, let me ask you something. Now that I brought that up, as brothers, do y'all tend to get on each other's nerves?
Yeah. So Alex is me. I'm more of a serious person. I live a serious lifestyle outside of wrestling. I'm just a serious-minded guy. And Alex over here is the class clown of the joke of the world. So there's times when I really want to pinch his head off because he's extremely aggravating.
But I'm always right.
Definitely.
I'm always right, Buster.
And you the younger one too, see?
Yes.
See, me and my brother, he's 18 years older than me. So from the time I was 5 years old, he was going to be my manager and I was going to be a wrestler. Of course, time I get 17 and get to training, hell, he's already 45 years old, And so he's always right. No matter if he's wrong, he's fucking right. No matter what the situation is, you could show him facts and he's still going to say, I'm right. No matter what. Man, I'm like you, man. You want to choke him sometime. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, I'm just that way. Like, I laugh and joke and cut up, and I have my moments where I'm not so serious, but for the most part, I'm just a serious-minded person. That's why I've never ridden real big on like comedy wrestling because some guys like the comedy style of wrestling, but I never enjoyed that because again, I'm more of the wrestling should be serious, and that's fine if you like the comedy, but I guess I'm more on the serious side because I'm just a serious minded guy. To where Alex, he's I don't really know how to explain. I don't really know how to explain.
He likes the comedy. Yes, say it. He likes the comedy.
Alex is he's the joke of the day.
Honestly, Buster, I'll go out there and do anything. I don't really care. If the crowd loves it and it gets over, hey, let's go for it.
Look, when I first broke in, I was more like Ethan. I was serious. I mean, I didn't mind going out there and making a fool of myself, but I was always serious. But as time went on and the longer I was in the business, man, the more I realized a lot of people say there shouldn't be comedy in wrestling. But, say you got a real serious segment you want to do. Okay, say you've had a solid match in one segment, hard-nosed wrestling, and then you got something either super drama filled that you're going to do here, or you're going to do some serious violence. Okay, so sometimes I realize that in between these two segments, if you throw some comedy out there to refreshen everybody's palate, the fans' palate, to kind of cleanse it of what they seen here and get it ready for what they seen here to get the biggest impact, I figured out that there are places to do a little comedy in wrestling, because you hit them with this comedy here and then you give them this ultra violent thing over here that they don't expect, and the comedy has took them one direction. A lot of times you'll get a bigger impact out of what you're doing, something that you really want to get impact out of. But when I was young, I was serious business too. I didn't give a damn about doing stupid shit. I'll be honest with you, man.
Hey, Buster, life is too short to be serious all the time. That's what I tell Ethan.
That's what my old lady tells me.
Hey, I'm a kid at heart. That's I have 3 kids, and my wife always says she's got 4 kids.
Yeah,
it's you know the there's times that I'm not so serious, but I'm more like you, Buster. I mean, I've just been that way since I broke in. I'm just down to business, serious minded. You know.
Well, that's what makes y'all work so good together, because you like one thing and you feel like you're best at one thing. Alex can do other stuff, and it ain't, y'all don't really do the same shit, you know. Each one of you kind of has a different style from the other one. Both hard-nosed wrestling, but just the way you go about wrestling, because Alex likes to do moves. Not just flips and shit, but just Alex likes big spots. You can tell that he does real integral 2 or 3 people at a time spots that everybody's got to be on for. And that's good. It's good to be creative. But you also need that guy over here who is serious business and hard nosed. And I think that's what makes it work for y'all. I think that's what's creating the magic, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to have to wrap it up. Dudes, I appreciate y'all for coming on. Y'all are, like I said, y'all are one of my favorite teams to watch. Y'all are the guys that I go to a lot of these shows, and you know it gets repetitive. Yeah. But y'all are the guys that when y'all are in the ring, I find myself watching the actual match and not watching the camera. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not paying attention to what's going on. Man, I appreciate y'all so much for coming on. It was my pleasure having y'all. One more time before y'all get out of here, tell them how to get a hold of y'all.
Hey, I'm both of us on Facebook. Mine's under James Pierce. His is under Mike Pierce.
Y'all heard it, fans. Steel Cross. You want to book them? You just heard it. Facebook, James Pierce, Mike Pierce, either one of them. Give these guys a holler, man. Work something out with them. Top-notch team. Big things going on, making waves in the area. Steel Cross, Alex, Ethan. Once again, thank you guys. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Buster.
Thank y'all, and y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right, y'all, there it was. The brand new BWB, since we can't call it by its real name. Y'all know what it stands for. Be sure you like, share, and most of all, go to subscribe to Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube. Like all the videos, share them. Let your friends know. Tell everybody, go check out Buster H.R. Johnson. And promoters out there, you want a good tag team on your card, solid, top-notch workers, book Steel Cross. You won't be disappointed. All right, y'all. It's time to go. I thank everybody for watching. We'll be back next month with a brand new BWB. Y'all take it easy.